In this video, we're going to take a look at TypingClub School Edition. We'll take a look at both the student and teacher experiences so that you can know what your students will experience when they sign in, and also the tools that are available to you as a teacher to make it the best experience possible for your students. Everyone that signs into your account will sign in from the same URL. This account's URL is shown here. And that is where both teachers and students will log in. Now I will sign in as one of my students so we can see what her dashboard looks like. When she signs in, she'll see her lesson plans and tests listed here on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, there's a quick summary of the statistics. She can track her speed, time spent typing, keyboard coverage, and accuracy. Under time spent, you can see these nice little goal circles. You can actually set these goals as an instructor, and then your students will know whether or not they're meeting their time goals. If the student clicks on the flag icon near the top right, they'll be able to change their language for their interface. If the student clicks on their name and then profile, they'll be able to see all of the accessibility settings available to them. You can also set and manage these accessibility settings from your teacher login. Now I'm going to go ahead and open up Typing Jungle. Typing Jungle is our main lesson plan on TypingClub. It contains close to 700 lessons and will take your students all the way from learning how to find the bumps on the F and the J key through typing full paragraphs with a goal of 75 words per minute. So from the very beginning, we make sure to introduce sets of keys with an introductory lesson. It'll show the students where the keys are on the keyboard and which fingers to press them with. Then once they're actually typing in the lesson, if they make a mistake, it will highlight in red and show them what they're doing wrong. For these beginner lessons, they'll have to type the key correctly before they're able to move on. And these beginner lessons are simply completion based because here we just want to make sure that they get the placement right on the keyboard and start to gain that positive muscle memory. Once we're ready to start practicing, we move into a more normal typing interface. And here, if you make a mistake, you have the option to backspace and correct it. So here, any letters that I type correctly will show up in green. Any mistakes that I make will show up in red, but I'm able to backspace them and correct them, and then they show up in yellow. And then here, when a student finishes a lesson, they'll receive their stars and their score. They'll see their accuracy, the duration of the lesson, their speed. If they scroll down, they could do a real-time playback, view some more information, and then if they've completed the lesson before, it'll show all of their previous attempts as well so they can track their progress on this specific lesson. So let's just quickly go back to this one. So here, if you allow your students to, they do have the option to customize different features. So by default, the students will see their live words per minute in accuracy, and they'll see the speed on each word. So here you can see as I type, the live speed and accuracy are shown, and you can even see on top of some of these letters, there is a speed shown as well. But the student is able to turn that off. Maybe it's a little bit too much pressure and they don't want to focus on it, so they can turn it off right here. If you allow them to, they're able to customize their theme. We do also have dark backgrounds as well. Sometimes those can be easier on the eyes. They can change their font size to large or very large or even extra large accessible. And they can also change their font face. If we go here, they can control the keyboard sound and the voiceover settings. We do have 3 levels of voiceover settings. The fully guided will read letter by letter, and if the student pauses, the program will tell them how to get to that particular key from the home row. Here they can control the hand guide. They could turn it off completely, or they could have it show both hands, or only the left hand, or only the right hand. Here they can control the keyboard guide. They can turn it off completely. They can change the language if they're working on typing in a foreign language, or they can play with these different skins. But again, this is all highly customizable, so you control whether you want your students to be able to have access to be able to change and customize these things. Next, we'll take a look at another lesson type. We're going to take a look at a game. So the games are fun. They still track the student's speed and accuracy, but in a bit more of a fun environment. We have a bit of different types of games, but here is one. So they're still practicing typing those letters that they've just learned. If I'm a bit too slow, then I'll lose a life, and then I can keep trying. So these can be a fun little break for the students, but they're still getting valuable typing experience. There we go. Next, we'll take a look at another lesson type. We also have hand anchoring lessons, so these are really great for breaking that hunting and pecking habit that so many students seem to have. So for these lessons, they'll be forced to hold down either the F or the J key. So in this lesson, I'll be holding down the J key with my right hand, and then I'll be typing all of these letters with my left hand. So it really forces you to make sure that you're using the correct hand and the correct home row placement typing this entire lesson. If I ever let go of the J key, this screen comes up and blocks my view, so I have to hold it down the entire lesson. So again, these lessons are great for breaking the hunting and the pecking habit. We also have instructional videos embedded throughout. So the first one will let them know, what are we doing here? Why you should want to learn how to type like a pro, how to set up your finger positioning, setting up for the bumps on the F and the J key. And then other videos sprinkled throughout will talk about the home row, good typing posture, the importance of taking breaks from technology. Another great lesson type we have is our dynamic lessons. So these will cater to each individual student. It'll cater to their weaknesses. So if I'm having difficulty with certain letter pairings or letter combinations, it's going to hone in on that and give me some extra practice. So the dynamic lessons will vary from student to student to kind of give them some individualized attention. So here it looks like maybe I need some more practice with the OP and the CU combinations. So it'll start me off just typing those letters, and then it'll progress to having me type words that contain those letter pairings. So these are great, and they are constantly tracking the student's progress, and so they will update each time. Another feature that the students have access to in Typing Jungle is the placement test. So if you enable it for them, they have the option to take the placement test. They would access it from this check mark on the right-hand side, and this will allow them to test out of lessons where they already show proficiency. So if you believe you have students at a bunch of different levels, you could have them take this and then it'll place them all accordingly. You also have the option to turn off this feature if you want all of your students to start back at the beginning and really learn the home row and maybe get rid of any hunting and pecking habits to really form that positive muscle memory. So it's up to you, but it is available as an option. Students also have access to a scoreboard. You can choose to disable this as well, but if it's enabled, they'll be able to see all of the students in the class and their stars, their average accuracy and speed. So this can be a way for some healthy competition and motivation, but you also have the option to turn it off completely, or you can turn it into a leaderboard instead, and then they would only see the top performers for each class. Students can also view stats, so they can view their speed and accuracy and practice time, progress overview, Keyboard mastery, so this will show them all their strongest and weakest letters and keys on the keyboard. Similarly, we have finger mastery, so their fastest and slowest and least and most accurate fingers. Here you can see the speed and accuracy per character. So we can see that my fastest character is L, my slowest character is F. See the average practice time, and this is broken down per lesson plan that's assigned to the student. Typing speed and how it compares to your class and all of the second graders in your account or your appropriate grade. Keyboard coverage, lesson plan completion rate, practice calendar, so I can see all the days I've practiced, and if I hover over that day, I can see how many attempts I did and how many minutes I typed. Punch card, so I can see what times I'm usually signing in and practicing, and then all of my recent practices. Next, we're going to take a look at one of our other lesson plans. Jungle Junior is great for the younger kids, kindergarten and first grade usually. It's a lot more colorful of an interface. There's a lot of videos. It'll start by introducing each letter. There'll be exercises throughout to warm up your hands and fingers and get the wiggles out. So let's take a look at some of these videos.
Let's learn about the letter A. This is a big A. This is a small A. Apple starts with A. A, A, A. Ant starts with A. A, A, A. Ants eat apples. Let's go pick some apples. Let's get our hands and fingers ready. Follow along. Hold up your right hand. Good job. Hold up your left hand. Excellent. Shake your hands back and forth, like you're waving to your best friend. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, stop. Now, make a tent with your hands and press your fingertips together. Spread your fingers out wide. Then bring them close together. Do it again. Spread your fingers out wide. Then bring them close together. Great job. Next, wiggle your left pinky. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, stop. Now that your left pinky is ready, let's start typing. The letter A is a blue key, so it's a pinky key. Mike the monkey is pointing to the letter A. Can you find it on your keyboard? Use your left pinky to tap the letter A.
So as you can see, it's very colorful, it's color-coded. Mike the monkey will show them which letter they're supposed to type, and then it's color-coded so they can see which finger on which hand they're supposed to use to type it. So this is a great one for the young ones. And then one more lesson plan that we'll take a look at. We'll look at one of our animated story lesson plans. So we have a few of these. This one is Going Solo. These are great. It'll have the students type out the entire story in sections, and as they type the story, the music and the animations will come to life. And then as they slow down or start to make mistakes, the music and the animations will kind of slow down and stop so that they can regain focus. So here the music and the animations are coming to life, but if I slow down or make mistakes, then the music and the animations will follow. These are also great because it has the students practicing typing full paragraphs. So these are a great resource as well, and they're a lot of fun. And then these ones are completion based. So they won't receive scores or points, but they'll still see their speed and their accuracy. Now I will close out of this and then log in as a teacher. So I will log in at that same URL. So here we can see the dashboard for a teacher login. You can see the recent activity on the account, the live activity feed. You can play back the different attempts. If I click here, then I can change the language of my dashboard. Now I'll go ahead and take a look at the Classes tab. So here it'll list all of my classes. If I click on one, I can see the overview, so it'll tell me how many students are enrolled in the class and the instructors, the date the class was created, the last activity in the class. Here you can enable a class code, so this will allow the students to be able to sign up for the class themselves if you don't want to have to enroll them all yourself. Here you can see the settings, so right now students can view each other's scores. The students are allowed to jump ahead. That's not the default. It does default to making them go in order, but you are able to change that. Right now, backspace is allowed, and the daily goal is 15 minutes, and the weekly goal is 60 minutes. You can see the overall typing performance for the class, a record history, a class activity punch card, so you can see at what times most of your class is practicing. Is it during school hours? Is it outside of school hours? Next, I'll take a look here. You can see all of the students in the class, and you can also view their last activity. See all of the instructors for the class. Here, if I click on assignments, I can view all of the lesson plans that I have assigned to the class, and I can assign additional lesson plans as well. So you can see the total number of lessons that are in the lesson plan, the lessons that you've assigned to the class. Do you have them open to complete all lessons, or have you limited it? So right now in this one, I've limited it to lesson 1 through 3. Are there any prerequisites? So that means, do you want them to have to complete one lesson plan before they're able to have access to this one? You can view and manage the difficulty level. So right now I have the difficulty set as normal for the class, but I can change that. I can increase or decrease the speed requirements or the accuracy requirements. This is where I can set the lesson plan prerequisites as well. This is also where I could enable or disable the placement test. If we go under reports, we have a bunch of different reports that you have access to for these classes. So the activity log will show a summary of all the activities performed by your students in a chronological order. We also have the activity summary report. So this report provides a comprehensive summary of your students' performance during a selective time period. A really neat one is the daily weekly time report. So this is really helpful on tracking if your students have met your time goals. So you can view it either daily or weekly. You can choose to highlight students who didn't meet the daily goal of 15 minutes, and then it'll show all of your students' time for the selected date range. Another really helpful one is the lesson plan progress graph. This is a great way to see how many lessons all of the students in your class have completed. So here I can see Cinderella, she kind of jumped ahead to do lesson 88, but otherwise all of the students are kind of still at the beginning of the lesson plan. You can see different class stats. So similar to the stats available for each individual student, but this is for the entire class. And then also some different typing stats as well. Here I can view the scoreboard, so I can see how each of my students are performing. I can see the live activity feed, but this time it's just for my specific class and not for the entire account. And then here I can edit the class name, the class ID, or the grade. Before we move on, just take a quick look back. If you click on Students under the class, you can actually select all of your students, and if they have an email address listed in the account, you can click Email Students, and that'll generate an email to send them. And then quickly, if we go back to Overview, you can choose to print the login cards for your students, and that'll print out a small card for each of the students that'll show them the URL that they need to go to log in, and also their username and their password. Now we'll move on to the Students tab. Here you can view and manage all of the students in your account. We offer a bunch of different ways to roster your students. You can add them all manually, you can add them via CSV files. You can use Google Classroom or Clever Classroom, and we also offer full integration with Clever or ClassRank for paid school accounts who purchase 200 or more student licenses per year. If I click on a specific student, I can then click Progress, and here I can adjust the difficulty level for this individual student. So you can adjust difficulty on a class-wide level or on a student level. You can also view a quick activity log just for this student. And then if I click Edit Student, this is where you as the teacher can manage their accessibility settings. So you can view each of the options and then a quick summary of what happens when you select this option, what is activated and what is deactivated. And then if you click Reports, you can see the reports that are also available to the student when they're logged in. If you have multiple schools in the account, this is where you can view and manage them. You can also view and manage your instructors and their permissions. You can add them as instructors, as admins, as school admins, or you can just add them in a billing capacity. Next, we'll take a look at typing tests. So you are able to create and assign typing tests for your students. Sometimes teachers will do one at the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and the end of the year just to kind of track progress. Other teachers will assign them more frequently. You can alter the text of your typing test to coincide with what you're teaching in the classroom. So if you're learning about solar systems, you could create a typing test and have the students type a paragraph about the solar system. So that way they're practicing their typing, but they're also learning new things that's relevant to the class. So here on the overview, I can see a summary. I can view the text. And I can view and manage all of the settings. So what students in the account can take it, is backspace enabled or disabled, how many times can the students take the test, what is the speed goal, what is the minimum speed, do I want to enable a certificate when the students complete it or when they meet a certain goal, are the hand guides and keyboard guides enabled or disabled? Is there a time limit and is there a minimum accuracy? What is the minimum accuracy? Here you can view all of the students, all of the instructors, and then here you can view all of the results. So to give you just kind of a quick summary, how many students failed, how many students passed, and then some more statistics as well. You can filter these results by school or by grade or by class. See the average performance. And then if you want to print those certificates, just select the students, click Print Certificate, it'll download, and then here you can see Certificate of Achievement. It'll list their words per minute and their accuracy and the date that they completed the test. So that is a quick look at typing tests. Next, we'll look at lesson plans. So this will list all of our lesson plans that we have created. So Jungle Junior, we also have DC Typing, which is a lesson plan that while the students are practicing their typing, they'll also learn how to be safe online. We have Typing Basics, which is kind of a condensed version of Typing Jungle. different animated story lessons. And then you can view all of our different languages that are available. We have English, Spanish, German, French, Italian, Portuguese, Russian, Slovak, and Chinese. And then here at the top, you can view all of the lesson plans that I have created. So you do have the option to create your own custom lesson plans. So this is again really great if you want to have your students learning things that are pertinent to what you're learning in the classroom right now. So we can take a quick look at our lesson plan editor. So here it'll do, you can see all of the lessons and then create a new lesson. So you would select the lesson type. Is it adaptable, like our dynamic lessons, code typing, hand anchoring, individual characters, the different types of games, video player, and then different types of spelling lessons as well. Next, we'll take a look at analytics. So here you can view some more reports, and you can view them on an account, school, grade, class, or student level, and then you can filter them further. So if you want to view for all students, you could also filter by the school or the grade, the class, or even the lesson plan. So this will show information like total time, speed, accuracy, real accuracy, coverage, initial speed, final speed, earned stars, earned score, total lessons, new lessons. So a lot of really helpful information. Next, I just want to briefly talk about the Help Center and the Support Center. So you can click on the Support tab and it'll give you information to create a ticket with us if you have any questions. I do also recommend checking out our Help Center. You can see the user guide, or you can see information on class management, student management, reports, resources. And then also, if you go back into your account, this search bar in the top left, you can use it if you ever want to search for a particular student, instructor, or class, but you can also use it if you have any questions. So if I'm wondering how I can adjust the difficulty, I just type in a few words or one word difficulty, and then it'll pull up a help page article on it. So that is very helpful. Thank you for joining us and for watching this video. If you do have any questions, feel free to take a look at our help page or contact our support center. Have a great day.